Welcome back to another episode of Diaries of the Working Couple. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Chris.
And did you know that pay toilets used to be a thing? They were public toilets, but you would have to pay to use them.
They were probably so clean compared to public restrooms.
No, so that was the thought. The thought was, and so from my understanding, they were toilets that were like you had to put money into the stalls to unlock the stalls and use them. And they did that to try and keep it more clean, but it didn't end up working. So they just ended up scratching the idea of pay, like having to pay to use them.
A thought went through my head, like as you were explaining the pricing model, that like what if they left the bathrooms open, but then they charged you for toilet paper? That would be so mean.
Fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then it also, I mean, if you think about that whole thing, then it also is very gender biased because women have to use the stalls, whereas guys can just pee on the side of any building if they wanted to. So
That's true, but everybody sits to take a dump.
that is true. You're kind of SOL if you have to
That's
poop.
right. We went there.
Everybody poops. It's
So
okay.
what time period was this in?
I'm not sure. I did not do a lot of.
Oh, come on.
You know what? Hold on. Give me a second.
What? Oh, did this come from a fact book?
It came. So this is a book that I got that I thought was interesting. The book is called "Why Do Clocks Run Clockwise and Other Imponderables?" Kind of like, oh, why do we yell 4 when we're like shooting a golf ball and different things like that.
Do you know what the meaning of that is?
It's in here. Never meant to be profit making. Help defray the cost of cleaning the bathrooms. Entrance fee would motivate users to keep the stalls clean.
Go use it.
No. 50s and 60s.
Okay. Does it give any locations? Like what cities tried that?
No, it doesn't, but it says that it was operated by municipalities, so I think it was like city by city, state by state,
Yeah.
region by region, if you will.
Okay.
So yeah.
You look like you're reading something pretty interesting over
Well, so because I was trying to figure out, so in here they interviewed a guy from the Federal Aviation Administration. I was like, these pay toilets aren't just. I feel like my chair is like squeaking.
there. Yeah.
Anyway,
We got the warranty on them, right?
Well,
Let's
side note, I was
freaking bring them in.
it said Federal Aviation Administration. I was like, but these aren't like paid toilets in an airplane. They're just paid toilets in general. But it said the small amount of revenue generated by paid toilets in airports was not worth the complaints about the cleanliness and the broken locks and all that kind of stuff. So they just decided to nix it. I don't know why I took that out. Because that was holding my place.
So today I am drinking a glass of salted caramel whiskey from Bogue's Distillery. That's like a typical drink for me now.
Yeah. Did you guys break that out during
Yo, that candle is so intense. Like I see flickering in the corner of my eye.
did you guys break that out during Halloween?
I did.
I saw 2 whiskey glasses that were brought in. I didn't know who was drinking whiskey.
I did. I gave a glass to Barry.
To Barry. I don't know if it was Barry or your dad.
Yeah, so this episode is being recorded post-Halloween.
Post-Halloween.
Mid-World Series.
Yes.
It's funny that we were just talking about sports last episode, and I feel like I crapped on baseball a little bit. I don't remember. I know basketball I said that I hate watching. Baseball typically for me is kind of boring, but because the Phillies are in the World Series right now, there's a lot more on the line.
Yeah, he's very, very invested now.
I was so stressed out last night.
You were very, very stressed out. And you've never been stressed out about baseball.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
Yeah, we're currently losing 2-3, so we'll see what happens.
Um, Other sports news: we went to the Eagles Steelers game last weekend.
And the Steelers got creamed.
No, no, no. Let me tell you, because I was talking to Sydney about this. So when we first started dating, the Steelers and the Eagles played each other, and the Steelers got walloped. Like, it was bad.
What was the score?
31-3.
Yeah.
So this time around, we did not lose by a 28-point difference. So I'm counting that as a win in my book.
What was the score of this game? I totally forget.
I still think it was like 30 something, but it was like to 13.
Yeah. It was still just like total domination.
Listen. We got it under 28. We lost by less than 28.
The Steelers are having a bad year this year.
Listen, it's a rebuild year.
Yeah.
It's a rebuild year.
That's what all the fans were saying to themselves to keep them
Well,
keep their hopes up.
We've literally had the same quarterback for 18 years.
Yeah.
I think that might be an exaggeration. Maybe not. I don't know.
You probably don't even remember who was quarterback before Ben.
No.
Yeah.
I don't. The beginning of Ben's era, I think they had the bus. He was still on their I don't know if he was, I think it was defensive line. Jerome Bettis.
I don't remember anybody previous to McNabb. Like, I feel like when I started watching sports as a kid, McNabb was the Eagles quarterback.
Wasn't he the one who got in trouble for all the like dog fighting, or was that someone else?
No, it's Michael Vick.
Michael Vick.
But did Vick come in quarterback for the Eagles at one point? I feel like he did.
It's possible. I didn't pay much attention to the Eagles. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it went McNabb. And then we went through like a bunch of different quarterbacks, and then we landed on Wentz.
Wentz, who got hurt was it first or second
Wentz
season?
had a really good like first season or second season, and then he got hurt. And that was the year that we won the Super Bowl.
That was Foles, and then you went back to Wentz, and Wentz didn't do super great.
He's been struggling ever since.
He has been.
It's okay.
Well, you said what you were drinking.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking.
I don't even see a drink. Oh, wow. You got yourself a glass of wine.
I did. Surprise, surprise. Everyone can hear me putting it down on the table. Y'all,
This guy's got to make some cup holders.
You do. So I don't
need it for the studio.
Need it so I don't make as much noise. But I have the remainder of my Crazy Ex-Girlfriend wine. It is from Red 55 Winery, which is the Miranda Lambert winery. It's a sweet white blend, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yawn. A little burp action there. Yep.
Listen, I can't help it.
Yeah. It's
Here I
about that
am.
time of the day. It's 8 o'clock at night. So this is, your time between nap number 2 probably and when you're about to go to sleep.
Listen, I had a long day, okay?
You did do a lot of stuff today.
I did a lot of stuff today, and I did a lot of stuff today with my day not starting until like 11:30.
Yeah, but you needed the sleep.
I needed to sleep. I've been working like crazy recently.
How many days in a row did you just work?
Well, so here's the thing. I worked Monday, Tuesday last week, and I was off Wednesday. So I was only supposed to work Thursday and be off Friday, Saturday, Sunday because Jim and I switched.
Mm-hmm.
But because of Crystal had COVID, I had to do work Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're closed on Sundays, which is nice. But we already had plans for the Eagles game, which was an all-day experience anyway.
Yeah, ain't no rest in there.
And then I worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today is my off day, and then I work tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of days in a row where I haven't had to reset. I haven't had a chance to reset. Whereas on the week, like my regular weeks, I can pick a day, like usually either Friday or Sunday, and say, okay, today is going to be my productive day. I'm going to clean the house. I'm going to get some laundry done. I try and do things so our house doesn't look like a bomb exploded. Right now, our upstairs looks like a bomb exploded because we've had like some window leaking issues.
Yes.
And it stresses me out when I see it. So that will probably be my Sunday project.
Yeah, tomorrow while you're at work, I'm gonna go. First, I'm gonna unload those things I took out of my car and put out all of that stuff back, and then I'm gonna go upstairs and hopefully put the carpet back in place, and then shampoo it and get it all cleaned up so that you can put whatever you want back in that room.
I wonder if there's a way to figure out how clean it is.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
Yes, dear.
But we should probably take the table that you put all your crafting stuff on and put it against the back wall. Like we should leave the section near the window pretty open.
Yeah, I'm going to have to move. We're going to have to take everything out because not everything's out of that room yet. Everything's just away from the corner.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're going to have to move everything out. And I've been slowly ticking away at that room anyway. So maybe Sunday will just be a junk room rehaul.
Should we just paint it while we have it empty?
We could. But that means
We
I
need
have
to
to go
repaint
pick
the trim. The
trimp.
trim.
the trim.
The trim. Yeah, no, we have to repaint the trim and then
That means
the
I'd have.
ceilings may not even be painted.
I don't think the
there.
ceilings were painted upstairs.
Dang, that's just a lot of work, but it's probably the time to do it.
But that means I have to find a paint color that I like in there.
Just paint it yellow.
But what if I don't want yellow? What if I want green?
Okay, maybe we just won't do that then.
You know, maybe we just do white. I don't know.
Yeah,
TBD. We'll
maybe
keep you guys
wanna-
posted. I know
yeah.
you're very interested in our junk room wall colors.
We will figure it out. See, it's the junk room right now, but it will become a nursery whenever we decide to have kids.
Yes, and so I would prefer to paint it whatever color I want the nursery.
Well, let's just wait then, because who knows what your mindset will be when that time comes.
I think either like a jungle theme or an under the sea theme. You could
So
do
blue or
yellow, green, or blue.
Mm.
But that way it's
Why not all of them? One wall each color, and
because
then
that's
you
a
can
lot.
you can have a bunch of different themes.
Nah, that's a lot. That's too much. But you know, I think it'd be cute because then it could be gender neutral. So whether we have a boy or girl, we can leave it as is. And you can get cute little stuff like themed stuffed animals. And Supriya said maybe Rena would do like a mural on the wall or something. Wouldn't that be so cute?
It would, but wow, you guys are planning ahead.
Yeah, well, so Rena's apparently done something like that for one of their other friends.
Yeah,
So when Supriya and I were like just absentmindedly chatting,
got it.
that came up and she's like, "Oh yeah, Rena's done something like that." Anyway,
Do you want to talk about what we're going to talk about today, or?
we can just keep talking.
Yeah, I
don't
mean, I
care.
honestly think that we're going to do a lot more coffee talks because I really like the episodes where we just keep talking about random things.
Rambling.
Yeah.
I'm good at rambling.
Who knows? Maybe if we get to the point where we have somewhat of a listener base or
What
whatever.
do you mean? Are you telling me our 3 loyal listeners don't count as a listener base?
I'm just saying that if we get to a point where, you know, we start to run low on topics, which I feel like we're not going to have for a long time since we have like a page worth of them. But either way, like it would be cool to transition to like just us talking randomly.
Well, we also have all those different cards that we could go through.
Yeah.
Convo cards.
Yeah. Conversation cards.
You weren't really into them last time I broke them out.
It's because like you break them out on like drives. And,
Yeah,
like,
when we were
or I'm
driving
just
through
trying
New
to, like,
York.
I'm just like trying to focus on the road and dumb drivers around me, and then like you're asking me all these super deep questions, and I'm like, all right, this is way too much thinking for that I want to do right now.
It's okay. We'll switch gears into something that's less thinking, less critically thinking, I guess.
Yeah.
So today I wanted to talk about our wedding, like the day of, what we liked, what we didn't like, all that kind of stuff. Because I know we had talked about all of the planning stuff, everything that we went through. But I don't know. I like the wedding.
And this is probably the last wedding-related episode.
Sorry, guys.
For a long time, we just wanted to wrap up the whole session on weddings.
I could talk about our wedding for days.
I know you could, but we'll get some more other fun topics in, after this.
Okay.
You look so sad now.
You act like this isn't going to be a fun topic.
It is fun. But, like, we have recorded a lot of wedding-related episodes recently. So, I was just letting everyone know that, this is not a wedding podcast, but it includes some wedding stuff.
Listen, of the time we've been together, there have been 3 major events. You have lava, you have the house, and you have our wedding.
Okay. You missed out on some, but we'll just let that go.
Major events.
Yeah.
What else I miss?
When I got my Grom.
I can't.
When I graduated my
cannot.
master's degree, when you graduated with your doctorate. Oh my God, so many important milestones.
Surprised
the cruise.
The Emmy didn't come up. I was surprised.
I was getting there. I mean, man, does this list get huge of important milestones and events that happened during
I'm
our
not
relationship.
saying they aren't all great. I'm saying that we have 3 like major milestones for our relationship. Getting our first pet together, buying a house, and getting married.
Which that might be an episode coming soon, but talking about buying a house, because a lot of
TBD.
people are trying to buy houses these days, and it's going very poorly now post-COVID life.
Yeah. And is it considered post-COVID life?
It's I would say it's like post-pandemic life, right? Like, I feel like now it's just becoming part of life.
I feel like we should table this for a coffee talk, because I would very much like to deeply get into pre-COVID versus intra-COVID versus post-COVID.
Okay. Coffee talk it is.
Ugh.
Maybe we'll do on Sunday.
Oh, I'd be so down for doing one Sunday.
Yeah.
Get some coffee.
Anyway, okay. We're talking about weddings.
Weddings.
Get pumped.
Okay, when did you get up for our wedding?
Ah.
And what did you do before the wedding? Did you guys go out disc golfing that day? Or was that...
Where did I sleep the night before our wedding? I slept at your parents'
I was
house.
going to say it was either my parents' house or Barry and Sydney's room. Not sure which.
No, so the night of the big partying, that was the night after the rehearsal dinner.
That was after
right?
the rehearsal dinner. So our rehearsal was on Thursday. That's when you slept in Barry's room. Friday was when you guys went disc golfing, right? Because Mom and I got my nails done. It was me, Mom, Brandy, and Lena. We all got our nails done.
I don't think I
Friday.
slept at your parents' house. Maybe I slept in Cyrus's room the night before our wedding.
Really?
Yeah. I
Well,
don't know.
Well, so disc golf I know
Look
was
at this.
Friday.
I already forgot. How does this happen?
Well, so Friday you guys went disc golfing, right?
Yeah.
And you guys were disc golfing through an HGTV shoot or something? Or like a House Hunters thing? Wasn't there some lady yelling at you guys or yelling at some people for
No.
being in the back of a shot? Or was that a different time?
That was a different time.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That was when it was just me and your brothers, and you were there, I thought.
No, I was not there for the HGTV.
Well, maybe
House
it was
Hunter
just
yelling
me, Zach,
people.
and Jake. But no, we did get yelled at, but it was by the lady at the school. There's like a school that their playground yard is like, I don't know, a football field's length away from a public disc golf course, which is a public park. And this lady had the nerve. No. She was screaming at us, like telling us that we cannot play there because there's children out or whatever. And, we just didn't want to get into it. We were playing disc golf, and I think we had a cooler with some beers and stuff like that. So if it was just us playing disc golf without any beers or anything, though, I probably would have just kept playing and told her to call the cops or whatever, because we're at a public park. I mean, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, but
And it's not like, I could understand if the kids were in danger or something, like if they were like too close to where you could accidentally hit somebody, but it was just, I don't know, it was ridiculous. Anyway, that was the day before the wedding. I think I slept at the hotel
Because that was
the day of the wedding.
the day.
Because the day of the wedding, I didn't get a ride to the hotel
You
to get
didn't.
dressed. So I stayed at Cyrus's room, I'm pretty sure.
Because I know we did.
Oh, I actually do remember 100% that I was in Cyrus's room because I was definitely. I remember because they had 2 double beds.
Yes.
And I was in one of the double beds, and Cyrus and Emily are like, I don't know what they were doing over there, but I remember they were making like they were giggling or whatever, and I was Snapchatting them saying like, like third wheeling it super hard or whatever.
Oh man.
But yeah, no. So I slept in Cyrus's room. I don't know what time I got up. Probably a little earlier than I typically do, just because nerves and stuff and excitement. But like 8:00 or so.
Okay. We had, I was up at like 6:30 or 7:00, if not earlier. Because I had to make sure my hair was dry from the night before. Because for hair and makeup, you have to make sure you have like a clean, makeup-free face and your hair is clean, washed, and dried, but not with like no crazy product or anything in it. So, and I remember Lena ended up coming down and hanging out for a little bit. I don't remember if she stayed the whole night in my room or not, but we were just hanging out that night in the suite we were in, because that's where we were all doing hair and makeup the next morning. And because
you had a full 2-bedroom suite, and I didn't even have a room. It's like I could have just slept in the.
No, you couldn't have.
Why?
The dress was in the other room. The
Okay,
dress needs a room in itself.
Okay, yeah.
Listen, it was very important, okay?
Why couldn't you sleep in the room with the dress?
Because what if I messed it up?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Where's the dress now? Huh?
It is preserved in my room at my parents' house.
Yes, so it'll probably never leave that bag or whatever it's preserved in again.
Until we have a little girl and she can wear it for her wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but no, so we had, let's see, all of my girls got hair and makeup done. So that's 6 bridesmaids plus me. That's 7. I think my mom got hair and makeup. That's 8. Did your mom get makeup or hair?
She does her own hair.
I think she
might have got makeup.
I think she got makeup done. I think your mom got one or the other. I think it was makeup.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know she'll correct me. Because I know she'll remember better than I do.
I'm pretty sure she did not. She did not get her hair done. I think she does her own hair. I remember her saying that she. I remember her saying that she was only going to get one done.
That's what I remember. I remember her saying she was only going to get one done, and I believe it was the makeup that she said she was going to get done. But I cannot 100% say one way or the other. But yeah, so mom actually came in the morning with hold on. Actually, I want to back up.
Okay.
Because you were saying you didn't even have a room the night before the wedding.
Uh-huh.
I want you to understand that was of your own doing. I made sure myself and my bridesmaids were all taken care of. I made sure we had a room to get like hair and makeup done in. I made sure we had our own hotel room for the wedding night. I did not think that I had to figure out where you were going to sleep, because you could have slept at my parents', or you could have been a big boy and gotten yourself your own hotel room. So I did not think about that because I had plenty of other things to think about for the wedding.
Now oh man, like looking back at pictures and stuff, my mom's hair looks like it was like curled and stuff like that, which makes me think that she got her hair done. I don't know. Anyway, not important, but Mom, you looked beautiful.
Oh yeah, she did.
So I'll put that up there on the record, and I don't know which one she did herself, but everything looked great.
It looked great either way. So I'm standing by that when it comes to your hotel room for the night before the wedding.
Okay.
If looks could kill you guys.
I know that eye roll. I heard that ASMR style through the mic.
But no, so my mom came in the morning with a Chick-fil-A tray, and we got stuff for mimosas.
Oh, that was another thing. Like, we didn't have food in the morning.
Again, whose fault was that? Not saying it's yours, but I'm saying sometimes you gotta take charge of your own well-being.
It was a beautiful day, everyone.
Listen, I can only babysit for so long.
Yeah, I'm not the most prepared. I did get the honeymoon, though. I did book the honeymoon.
After I harassed you about
I
it.
just want to say that I booked the honeymoon, and it was great. So
It was great. There was a lot of harassment that I had to do. So you weren't booking it the night before the wedding. But it rained the entire day.
it did. It was light at some points, though.
It even rained. It downpoured the day before, too.
Yeah, we kind of knew it was going to be an indoor wedding, even though the plan was to get married outside.
Yeah, originally we were going to do outside in front of the Chesapeake Bay. And it didn't happen. Which I was looking back, I'm sad about it because I didn't get the pictures that I wanted to get. But at the same time,
Well, let's rip that dress right out of the bag. I still got my suit, and we'll just go take more pictures.
No, I think I was thinking about it. I think maybe for like a 5 or a 10-year anniversary, we can go down and get pictures.
I will wear my suit.
You don't have to wear your suit. But I just really wanted pictures in front of the water. I've always wanted to get married on the water.
You did.
You
did get married on the water. It was just inside a building right next to the water.
Yeah, that's not what I had in mind. But
how about let's talk about the happy parts of the day?
I'm getting there. It rained, and I was gonna say that I was very, very surprised in like the best way possible with how the staff at our venue took all of our outdoor decorations that we originally had and set them all up for the indoor ceremony. Like, you never would have guessed it was supposed to be outdoor. It was just absolutely beautiful, and everything was done so tastefully and very well done. Because when we dropped everything off, we were talking to our day of coordinator, and she said, don't worry, it's not going to rain. We're not even going to worry about a rain plan because it's not going to rain. Well, it poured, so we did have to work. Like, we should have, but that way I would have known. But it was really nice because Deb kind of knew everything that I was going for, and she was able to get everything laid out, and it was still absolutely beautiful and perfect, which was really nice. But I definitely hadn't planned for any of that, and they knocked it out of the park.
Okay, so we might need to rewind again.
Excuse me. I'm
Typical.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
We yeah. That's funny. We could talk about that at a different time.
Coffee talk.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, but we might want to go back to getting ready. Like, is there anything memorable that happened when you were getting ready?
Was that lava?
It was.
Typical. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but she huffed really loud.
Very loud.
Getting ready, not in the hotel. The only stressful part was that we had to move from one suite to another because they told me I couldn't stay in the suite I was originally booked in because they had it booked for someone else.
I believe it was Tina.
It was literally booked for Tina. We had a 2-bedroom suite that they said, oh no, we have someone that has to be in this room. So I'm thinking like a family of 4 or a family of 6, someone who needs all of the extra rooms and everything. So they make us move halfway through hair and makeup up to my brother's room, I think is where we ended up finishing getting ready. And he got like, so he could like check in early or whatever. And come to find out, the room we were all in, Chris's one coworker was in.
Yeah.
It was a 2-bedroom suite for one person. And they kicked all 7, 8, 9, 10 of us out.
The room was reserved for another
Tina.
occupant. So
It was, but they couldn't have like rearranged it. Like I said, it wasn't like it was for a family of 7.
yeah. True.
Sorry, Tina. I love you. It's nothing against you. It's all against the hotel.
Tina doesn't listen.
I'm still saying sorry, Tina.
Yeah, so there was a few memorable things of when I was getting ready. One was that it was annoying that I had to keep untying my shoes and tying them again so that they could get pictures of me tying my shoes.
Well, they wanted to make sure you were doing it right.
Uh-huh. And then there's another picture, and I forget who the original person was. I believe it was like Ryan. They took a picture of Ryan like adjusting my tie or helping me tie my tie.
That didn't go well.
Well, Ryan was like trying to help me, but like he had no idea what was going on. And then, you know, in the background, Jason just goes, wraps it around his neck and like ties it and then hands it back to me. But there's no pictures of Jason like helping me out with it.
Well, so, and that's like a whole nother thing, because if you ask a guy to tie a tie, they can't tie it looking at it.
Yeah.
They are used to tying it wearing it. But if you give a girl a tie, like to help you tie a tie, they're a lot more likely to be able to do it while looking at you, because that's how they're used to doing it. Girls don't usually wear the tie, so they're not used to like.
Whoa, it's 2022.
Sid, usually,
yeah.
okay.
Well, I know how to tie my ties now. I mean, and I did know back then too, but the pressure got to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pressure
got to me. I know at Ryan's wedding, which was like, I don't know, a year or two prior, all of us were looking at YouTube videos on figuring out how to, because you got a double Windsor, okay?
Did you guys double Windsor for?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Okay,
yeah. We're
that's fine.
no single knot here.
Listen,
okay?
all I know is you guys had pocket squares.
My dad does a single knot, and you know, every time we go to a wedding and stuff, I'm like, come on, man, let's step it up. You know, double Windsor or nothing.
He'll probably go nothing if you say that.
Yeah. So yeah, those were like two interesting things from when we were getting ready. Otherwise, it was just like everybody was drinking beers or Trulies while getting ready. I did not drink anything.
I heard Jake had to help everyone with their pocket square.
Jake was in charge of the pocket squares. Yes, Jake definitely came in clutch there. Yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm not a pocket square guy.
Most people aren't.
I don't
honestly.
typically wear a pocket square.
You don't typically wear a suit.
Yeah.
Or a vest.
Valid. So. Yeah. And I think, and Jake brought some of the leftover nuggets, so we had like maybe a nugget and a half each.
Jake even brought us let me tell you, Jake was the MVP.
Oh, he brought cupcakes to us too.
He did bring you guys cupcakes.
None of us ate them.
Why? They were the snickerdoodle ones.
I know. Or like, I feel like I think nobody ate them from down like where we were at. I don't know. I feel like at the time I was like, oh, I'm gonna eat one of these like after the wedding. I don't know what I was thinking, but like I was excited for it. But
I mean,
then
it was great thought, horrible execution.
Yes. Well, like I don't know. I didn't eat anything, and I kind of wanted like an empty stomach. I just didn't want to get nervous and accidentally spray people.
Pitch Perfect style.
Yeah, exactly.
No, like, and see, it was the exact opposite for us. Like, we were all sitting around, like, drinking, not like drinking.
You were drinking? Oh, how dare you?
I had a mimosa. What? Listen, okay, your requirements were that you had to be sober enough to not slur your vowels and not stumble down the aisle.
I didn't know, where is that limit? So I was so nervous that I just didn't drink at all.
I was going to say, that was your requirement. I didn't say, no, you can't drink. I said, I want. And the other thing is being married, like, in the Catholic Church, you can't be reeking of alcohol.
Yeah.
But I know when I would make a little plate of like nuggets and fruit, and I was sitting there eating. Jake brought the cupcakes. I went to go get a cupcake, and Mom's like, maybe you should just have like a quarter of one.
That's something that you want to hear on your wedding day.
It was a big issue. So I had a lot of doubts and issues going into the wedding day about my dress. And it was because I didn't like how I looked in the dress. I thought I had gained
before the wedding.
Before the wedding. Like literally 2 or 3 days before the wedding, I tried on the dress and I was in tears because I just thought I looked way too fat in it. I thought I looked horrible, and I was like, I don't want to look like this on my wedding. And it wasn't because of the dress, it was because of me. Like, I didn't like how I looked in the dress. And Mom was there for the whole breakdown, and I know it was coming from somewhere like in a good like mindset.
I feel like you had a breakdown like that like a few months before the wedding too, because I thought you were like doubting the dress and you were thinking about looking at different dresses.
I was doubting the dress, but at that point I wasn't doubting the dress, because when I went back and I retried it on, I really did like the dress. The problem was I'm such a bad dieter that I was like, I'm just gonna continue with what I'm doing. Then I would bounce back to, no, I really need to work out and I need to watch what I eat. And I would like yo-yo back and forth.
We both were saying that we were really going to get in shape for our wedding.
Yeah, but the thing is, you stop drinking and the weight melts off of you.
That's what you think, but it's not true.
It's very...
Remember the beginning of this year? We were both going to the gym like 5 to 6 days a week, and I did that for 4 or 5 months, and I didn't see any weight drop at all.
Yeah, and I did, but it wasn't like it's difficult because for me, I gain it all right back. You don't see any drop, but you don't really gain either.
Yeah, I stay pretty neutral.
And I had like a huge mental breakdown. Like there was a lot of like self-image issues leading up to the wedding. And so like when the morning of, I'm like happy, I'm having a good time. Mom's like, well, maybe you shouldn't like eat all like a full cupcake because I don't want you like getting bloated, and then when you try on the dress you get really upset with yourself. She's like, I really don't want you to be in that mindset, which I totally understand. But it was my wedding day. I was like, damn it, if I want a cupcake, I'm gonna have a fucking cupcake.
Yeah.
And they were really good cupcakes. They were churro cupcakes from the one bakery.
Yeah, well, good story. You tried on the dress and everything was beautiful.
The dress fit.
So.
And I looked great, didn't I, dear?
You did. You made me shed a tear.
I did. I made you cry.
Yeah.
And I was not sure if he was going to cry. I didn't think he was going to cry.
I do not like the whole... Man, this is why I think there's a problem with like Instagram and stuff, is that you see all these videos of all these grooms that get so emotional when they see their bride walking down the aisle, and now that makes girls expect that that's going to happen.
I had resolved to not seeing you cry on the wedding. Like, I did not think you were going to cry seeing me.
You said multiple times before the wedding, oh, like in a joking manner, but you were always like, oh, like, you know, I better see you cry when you see me and stuff like that. And it's like, it puts so much pressure on the guy for
like unnecessary stress.
It's just like, you know,
is that why you cried? Because you're like, thank God she can't say this to me anymore.
No, but you know, you never know what's gonna happen, and I'm sure there's people like I guarantee if we went back in time and your parents did a first look, there's no way your dad's crying.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. My dad would look at my mom, and as soon as she got to the altar and Uncle Cal handed her off, my dad probably looked at her and said, you look very nice.
Yep. So, yeah. And like, you know, the same thing with like The Office, the whole Jim and Pam story. Like, you know, it makes everybody think that, oh, they want to have exactly what Jim and Pam had. And so romantic. And
it is romantic and it's cute. And it gives you the hope that you have something out there like that. And not everyone goes through life with a really great like, and I'm not saying I am this case or you're this case, but like not everyone has a really great like role model for like what a relationship should be at home, or your first relationship or second relationship or your first like million relationships could be really shitty relationships. So like when you see that, it like gives you hope, and when you see happiness and love, it gives you hope that you have that, and you will be worthy of that. And that's like when I see like people like proposal stories and like where like guys would cry at the end of the aisle and all stuff like that, it's like it makes me happy, and it makes me want to feel worthy enough to get that kind of love.
I did not cry when you walked down the aisle.
I know, because you saw me before then.
Yeah.
You cried when you saw me first.
That is true.
McNashley didn't do a first look.
Yeah.
And he sobbed while she walked down the aisle.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway,
we did a first look.
We should go to the dressing cottage.
The dressing cottage.
Oh, but hold on. Also, I want to mention that the bus ride to the cottage was so funny.
We had a blast on our bus ride. Literally, your mom and my mom sat up near the front, and my mom had gotten a Bluetooth speaker specifically for the bus, and like the
Did you not hook up to the bus sound system?
No, we were having issues with it.
Oh man.
But we just had like nothing but like 90s and 2000s like girl power pop jams going. It was a blast.
See, that sounds, fun for a group of women. For us, imagine my dad and your dad sitting up front on the bus.
And see, I can't, because your dad is more like one of the bros, and my dad's like that really like my dad's more of like a chaperone, like okay.
Yeah, but think of them two sitting up front, and then our groomsmen party in the back playing things like Stitches.
Are you sure Jake wasn't sitting up front?
No, Jake was with us, but man, there were some songs that were definitely interesting to.
Did you have Molly Cyrus playing?
I think we did play Molly Cyrus at one point, by Stitches, and you should look that song up. It's pretty funny, but
you don't have to.
Any parental people listening don't. But any people our age listening, yeah, you should, because it's pretty funny.
Yeah, there was that. I'm pretty sure you said Ryan put on a song that was called Tiggle Bitties.
Oh, yes. That was a good one, too. Yeah, there was just like, we were playing a bunch of random songs. And
they had a very different vibe.
Yeah, different vibe. Less of an adult-friendly vibe.
Yeah, whereas we had like Spice Girls and Britney Spears.
Yeah. So dressing cottage.
Did they keep you guys on the was it the balcony, the deck, the porch?
Yeah, we were on the porch, and that's where my dad got a little aggressive with Deb.
I was gonna ask when that happened, because I never.
So our wedding coordinator comes up to us, and she's just like, "Well, the wedding's gonna be inside," and she wanted to let me know that, I guess specifically, but also let everybody else know. And my dad's like, "No." Jamie, he's like, and he had a few beers at this point, and he's just like, Jamie said she wants it to be outside, so it's gonna be outside.
Meanwhile, it is still pouring.
It's like pouring down like so hard.
But I do greatly appreciate that he went to bat for what I wanted.
Uh-huh.
I greatly do appreciate that, and it means so much to me that he was like, "No, she wants it outside. It's gonna be outside."
Yeah. My dad, he's a little emotional down deep.
He is. As long as you get him enough beers.
I don't think it takes beers to get it out of him, but he was kind of emotional when we broke the engagement to them, right?
He was crying after the ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was crying. We were all partying, and he was just like,
what an emotional guy.
He was a wreck.
Yeah, yeah. That was before the fall.
Yes, that was before the fall. Well, okay, let's get back to the dressing cottage, because Deb actually had to take a beer from him.
Yeah, I think at that point, like when my dad was saying, "Oh, like Jamie wants to get married outside," I think she was like, "All right, that's enough beer for you."
Yeah, I think they had to keep you outside because we were finishing up getting ready, and I had like they were we did a first look with my bridesmaids.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you
s-
also did a first look with your dad
I
and then
did.
me. So like I was the third person or the third, party to find.
Okay, well, the bridesmaids were with me the entire time, so I think we were trying to do that before you guys got there, and then I'm sorry, but my dad's my dad.
I know. I know.
But yours was the most important look.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So
I thought my dad was gonna get emotional for our first look, and I highly overestimated
yeah,
him.
seriously.
I
What
highly
were you
overestimated that.
What were you thinking? Jeez.
It was wishful thinking.
Yeah. So, I remember going out for the first look, waiting a really long time, facing the rain pouring.
Yes.
And then you finally came out. Um, and then after we did our first look, there were some pictures.
We did. We did some. So we did our first look, and then
Then we did the letters.
I think we did the letters and the gifts, and
Which,
then we did a bunch of pictures.
yeah, so that was awkward. So we each got each other a gift, and we wrote each other a letter for the morning of the wedding.
Instead of
And
writing our own vows.
yeah, and we had to sit, which the bench is a really nice place to sit there.
It was so cute. It was
good pictures there, but you had to sit there and open the gift and read the letter out loud. And I guess the videographer wanted you reading it out loud. I don't know. I guess they
So
said it looked like a better picture with you
no.
reading.
So the photographer, and I was talking to Megan about it because I was like, "Why are you gonna?" And I like started reading it. She's like, "No, read it out loud." I was like, "Do I have to?" She's like, "Yes," because when you read it out loud, you actually have to understand the words you're reading, whereas when you're just reading it in your head, you can kind of skim over it. And so she wanted me that's what she told me. So that way when we read it out loud, we would actually like comprehend the words and really like take them in instead of just kind of skimming through it then see what the gift was.
Yeah, it was awkward. A little awkward.
I just cried through most of it anyway, so
I did not cry. I kept it together.
that's fair.
So after the gifts and stuff, we did a bunch of pictures with family,
And it was
mixed family.
it was really nice because
friends or not friends.
so
but
we had Megan, and then Megan brought Jenny along, so we had two photographers. So while I was doing photos with my parents, my brothers, and all of my bridesmaids, you were on the other side of the porch doing photos with your groomsmen, and your parents and your brother,
yeah.
which was really nice and helped kind of move things along.
But the most epic picture is the champagne blast.
It is.
So we're sitting on this deck, and they hand me a bottle of champagne, and they're like, "We want you to pop this open with all of your groomsmen and bridesmaids, surrounding you guys." And they were sitting inside the dressing cottage, but
They
like
stood,
in the doorway.
Right in the doorway. They had the doors open, and you had the two photographers and the videographers, so that way they could all try and get the best shot possible.
Yeah, and I think, there was a miscommunication. So they handed me the bottle of champagne, and they said, "Pop this, with everybody around you. We'll take pictures." And then I was like, "Are you sure? Like, you really want me to pop in this?"
They said spray towards the house, and he's like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Well, not into the house, but like
I think they meant like pop it towards the house.
they meant like spray it up, like they." So I don't know if you heard them say this.
I don't think they said spray. That's like where I think that's where the
Okay.
miscommunication happened, because like they were like, I think they said like pop the champagne and like point it towards the doorway, and then I was like, in my head when I think of popping champagne, I think of like full NASCAR, like you're shaking the champagne with your thumb over it and spraying it everywhere, and I think what they were thinking was like, you pop the top off and like, it spouts out and probably on the ground. But just towards them is what they wanted. So I asked like 3 times and they're like, yes, do it. So I popped it open and full out NASCAR sprayed all over the photographers, the videographer, the wedding planner. She was not super pumped about
You hear
it.
Deb in the background. Oh, this is not good. This is not good at all.
Yeah, she was not happy because I sprayed champagne all over the ceiling of of the deck, inside of the dressing cottage, on all the cameras and everything probably, but they didn't seem to the photographers and videographers were like, that was awesome, but
Yeah.
the wedding coordinator was not pumped at all about it. And I think she was more worried about, I don't know, I guess like sticky floors and stuff.
Probably, which is fair.
Because they were super strict about drinking in that cottage in general.
Yeah, they didn't want anything like any hard liquor. They're like, if you want a glass of champagne, that's fine, but we're not going like super hard. Which is fair because they do have to keep it nice for all of the other following
But we were the last
weddings
wedding of the day.
of the
right?
day, but that doesn't mean they didn't have someone the next day.
I know, but it's not like they had to like quickly, mop it up so that the next party coming in like a few hours or whatever.
Yes, but at the same time, it's not like they really had time to get a full cleaning crew in there to deep clean everything. Like I understand.
No regrets.
I was gonna say, oh, absolutely not. I think that was one of the best pictures from our wedding.
Yeah. You should take that picture and put it on our Instagram.
The Instagram that's been.
This is probably like the 4th
Dead.
episode now where we talk about the Instagram that we have yet to update, but we're busy people.
Listen, if
We
I
both-
ever get to a part of work where I'm not working exhausting hours, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, both of our work schedules have been pretty packed, but we have to record because it's good to have some time together to talk.
Yeah.
So, I think the biggest memory, other than the first looks and stuff from the dressing cottage, was just whipping that champagne everywhere.
Yes, that was good. And actually, there's a picture I think of you, me, your dad, Jason, and Cyrus. Maybe I think of just like all of us, and it's us from the back, but like just standing around talking inside the dressing cottage. That I think is one of my favorite pictures as well.
I don't remember that one.
It's like very much a candid, but I love candids.
So
But
from there, the guys got shuttled away.
yes,
But it was annoying because our bus,
sucked.
we got on the bus and it pulled out, but we were missing somebody. We were missing Ryan
I was
because
gonna
he
say-
was helping you guys for some reason.
It was either Ryan or Jake. You guys were missing someone.
No, Jake ran to
go get
find
Ryan.
Yeah, but like we were all on the bus. We're supposed to be at the wedding venue, but like we're already running kind of late, and Ryan is missing.
Typical Ryan.
When we're doing our final count before we leave, and it turned out he was helping you guys carry something down to the bus,
We had to carry.
or he was holding your umbrella or something to get you down. or
Yeah, it was
something.
something like that because all the girls, we didn't get changed until we got to the dressing cottage. So everyone shows up with mostly just like their accessories in a little bag and their dress. Well, coming back, you have the shoes they were wearing, all the clothes they were wearing that aren't really like hung up. So you have random hangers that we're trying to get. It was not very well thought out in terms of getting everything back out of the dressing cottage.
Yeah. So the guys went to the venue, and from there we got directed by Deb to hand over all cell phones and wallets and keys, I think, for me, because or any of the guys standing up at the
Any of
end
the guys
aisle.
standing up there, and then your dad was like, "Me too," and I think Jake or someone was like, "Yes, you too."
Yeah, my dad needs to have his phone taken away from him because he is notorious for taking his phone out and trying to take pictures during ceremonies, and there's a few good example photos of him like getting in the way.
Are you kidding? I think it was
Mike. Mike was telling us about
his wedding.
his
right?
wedding. They have like the perfect down the aisle shot, and then it's just like my dad standing taking a picture.
Well, and then I'm trying to think. There is oh my gosh, during Shane's wedding. I think during Shane's wedding, he took his phone out and like dropped it or something in the middle of the ceremony.
Yeah, he took out a lot of people had their phones out at that wedding, but
It was just like one of those like during the super quiet parts, and you like hear it like hit the ground, and you're just like,
oh no, that wasn't his phone. That was somebody dropped a water bottle. Yeah. But it was kind of hot, and Mom and Pop needed water. Anyway. So when we got there, they took all that stuff, and then we saw Mark, or Deacon Mark was there, and we lined up from there. We all walked in. Well, Mark walked in, I walked in, and then the groomsmen agreed to all skip down the aisle.
it was great.
Yeah, it was entertainment. It kind of there's like a serious vibe that comes with the wedding, and it just kind of like cheered everybody up. It kind of like broke the crowd a little bit. So like, there were some laughs, and then by the end, like Jason was the last person to come down the aisle, and he did like a very flamboyant skip down the aisle that really got the crowd
he really got his hands into it.
Yeah, he kind of like, it was like a mix of the
almost
Carlton,
like a Carlton, yeah,
but like, in the skip. So yeah, we were all lined up, and then
literally I was not nervous at all the entire day until we were like, they're like, okay, we're gonna like start like processing you guys in. I was like, and I have to pee and I'm gonna vomit, and now I'm nervous the 30 seconds before I walk down the aisle. And it wasn't even like oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Am I doing this? It's like, it was just like all of the nerves finally hit me at once. I was not nervous at all during the entire day up until then.
It's very odd. So like, I was definitely a little nervous. But typically I am way more nervous to stand in front of people. I was less nervous than I thought I would be. Like when I was standing up there, no problems. I'm looking down the aisle. You're about to come down the aisle. Yep, looking for you. No biggie. But like, I've been in weddings, like Ryan's wedding, for some reason, just standing in front of people, like nervous, like knee shaking nervous.
Well, and it sounds bad, but like at other people's weddings, like people aren't looking at you; they're looking at the bride and groom. Like don't get me wrong, at Ryan's wedding, I was looking at you.
But why am I shaking? Like there's nothing nervous about me standing there. That's I have a problem, I think, with just being in front of people. Nerves, I guess. Like things like graduation, super nervous to walk on stage in front of everybody. I don't know why.
Don't know.
I don't like being in front of people.
Okay, well.
Oh.
Is she having a nightmare?
Yeah, Lava's having a nightmare.
Oh, baby. Go give her petses. It's okay, Papa. It's okay. Now back to our regularly scheduled program.
Yeah.
So the groomsmen skipped down the aisle. Dad and I came down the aisle. Judy was the only one who had her phone out.
Yes.
Bitter about that. But it was really nice. We had a little string trio, and they did a very, very good job with everything. Even Deacon Mark got filled up during the homily.
He did. Yeah.
So he
did mention my Emmy too, so big credit to that. It's always good to rub it in when we can.
He also mentioned my doctorate, so you can calm down.
How many people have a doctorate versus an Emmy?
At that ceremony, probably the same amount.
No, that's not true. You might be right.
Yeah.
I had to really think about that.
But yeah, so we did that. After the ceremony, we processed out very nicely. They were really great. They had like a whole little like section of hors d'oeuvres for us. In the back for us. So they had hors d'oeuvres out for all of the guests, but they had like a little bit of everything in the back for us, and they were getting us drinks and everything, which was nice because during cocktail hour they said that we were going to finish up pictures and everything, but they didn't want us mingling with the guests because then it's hard to get us back out for the like entrance during like into the reception and everything, which made sense. And so we like they clear out the ceremony space. Everyone goes into the reception area for happy hour or cocktail hour, whatever you want to call it. And then we go into the wedding space, the ceremony space for pictures. And your dad makes another scene.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the alcohol. I honestly can't say, but
I know the step there
was weird.
It is hidden and you don't see it coming. So I can definitely attest to that.
I could see it being like, you know, if you're feeling good, you have a few drinks and you're like walking to the next room, you might just like not see that there's a step there. Like, I don't think he lost his balance due to alcohol, but like maybe he was negligent in seeing the stairs because anyway, he goes to walk into the room where we're taking the pictures and there's about a half step like drop into the next room and he did not see it and he went face first down.
Like he tried to tackle, who was it, Mum?
Mum was standing there. She's like 90 years old.
She
and
almost went down.
Very fragile. And it was scary. Definitely caused a little bit of stress, but luckily, you know, everybody was okay. So we made it.
Everyone survived. And of course, like I'm standing there. I think it took them about 15 minutes to bustle my dress because they were just trying to they couldn't find like the correct hooks or they couldn't hook it.
Yeah, he was just providing us with some entertainment while we were waiting for Jamie's dress to get handled.
But I had my back to the whole thing. I just turned around and seemed sprawled on the floor. But yeah, we took some photos. It was actually funny because like I'm sitting there trying to get bustled. Like my bridesmaids are helping, my mom. I even think grandma tried to help at one point. And meanwhile, your mom's like, okay, let's get pictures with Mom and Pop-Up. Let's get these pictures. Let's get these pictures. And I'm standing there like, I want to be in them too. My dress is just taking too long.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have a lot of pictures of us with your family. Like I know you have a lot of pictures with you and your family from after the ceremony. But I think we might only have maybe one or two of all of us, like with your side of the family after the ceremony.
Yeah. I'll have to look.
I was going to say, I don't know. I don't know if you like knew off the top of your head or not.
So after the pictures, we went to party.
Yeah, we went to cocktail hour because I told our wedding planner, I was like, I want to get like cocktail hour will not be a full hour if we can help it. Like as soon as we are done pictures, I want to get this party started and we're going to party. So I don't care if it's a cocktail 15 minutes. Like that was my goal.
Yeah. So we got introduced and everybody did their little entrances with whatever they wanted to do.
Yep.
And then we came in and I just kind of threw my hands up and you were like dancing a little bit.
I think we threw our hands up like your usual.
Yep. You know, just like I'm raving, you know,
yeah.
just having a great time.
Chris has like it's like one go-to, I don't even want to call it a dance move, but like a celebration, like movement.
You just throw your hands up in the air and you move them around and bob your head. Yep.
So I did that and we did our first dance and it was funny because our MC was like, yeah, just like during the first chorus, I want you to dip her and everything. And we're like, okay. And so we did it and we dipped. Afterwards, so many people came up and asked how long we were practicing that dip. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Chris dipped me and I just held on for dear life.
Pure adrenaline.
I said, please don't. Like, my thought was just, please don't drop me. I don't know what was going through your head.
That would be embarrassing. That would definitely be embarrassing.
Yeah, and I didn't know what was going through your head, but apparently, because Sonal said that she and Ubby were practicing dips for their wedding, and she's like, we had to practice a while for that. And I was like, nah, we just kind of went for it and prayed for the best.
Yeah. I wasn't worried. I think they like, the adrenaline was overpowering any type of worry that I had. So, yeah, pulled those dips off. Like, crowd was screaming. We were just
Listen,
giving them what they wanted.
we had our 15 minutes of fame.
Yep. And then, we did the parent dances. I got to dance with my mom.
Did we do the parent dances right then? I thought we ate first. And they did speeches. Because I thought we ate and they did speeches and then... Yeah, we ate, they did speeches, and then I thought we did the dances and the cake.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I kind of thought it went...
We did all of them at some point.
I kind of thought that we did all the dances, and then we sat down, did the speeches, ate, and then cut the cake. But I think the generation dance was after the meal, before the cake cutting.
I know it was after the meal. I thought the speeches were after the meal. Either way, we did the speeches.
Oh, you know what? It probably is, because it gives people things to do while the people are talking. Yeah.
Yeah. And then...
Anyway, Barry, during his speech, man, he broke out the podcast voice.
His speech was just phenomenal.
I've never heard somebody so calm. Like, for somebody who's typically so loud and everything.
It was very tame, very, very interesting.
He put on this soothing podcast voice, and I was just like, dang. And, yeah, his speech was pretty funny, too.
Honestly, if he could put on that, like, voice and literally just read a user manual for, like, a washing machine or something, it would probably be, like, a great, like, podcast to, like, go to sleep to.
Barry, next time you're driving to West Virginia, which should be on Monday, if you're... Oh, no, this isn't going to be out yet.
No, this isn't going to be out. On your
wait,
next...
It's gonna be out, right? Because he's leaving on Monday.
Yeah, he is.
So this is literally going to come out on Monday.
But is Sydney going with him? Sorry. Is Sydney going with him? Because he won't listen without her, and he gets mad when she listens without him.
Oh. I don't know, but
Sydney,
Barry,
you need to go with him if you're not.
If you're listening to this and you're thinking about new YouTube content, like, maybe that's something to get into. Like, you just have a series where you do a job, but you just use your soothing voice to talk through the job, like a voiceover. Like, you don't actually talk in the video, but you just voice it over with some soothing podcast talk.
Yeah, it would take off. I can see it.
Anyway, he killed his speech.
I think all the speeches were good.
Yeah, they were, and like, I wasn't expecting your parents to give a speech either.
So usually, I think the parents of the bride give some sort of speech.
That is true, yeah.
And I just know, I think my mom said something about it, or like asked my dad about it, and he's like, no. And I don't know if it's like because he didn't think he'd be able to or what, but he said no. Mom's like, well, come hell or high water, like, we're giving a speech. And so she ended up speaking.
Yeah, and that was very good as well.
It was very good. And then
made me feel like part of the family.
Weird, because you kind of are now.
I am now, yeah. I'm just worried, like, what stupid animal am I gonna get for Christmas one year? Like, that's literally what I think about. Like, man, I mean, we'll see.
We'll have to work on it.
Yeah.
We'll shop it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a story for maybe a coffee talk or so.
It's gonna. You know what we should do? We should do a coffee talk with my brothers.
We could.
We should do a coffee talk with my brothers one of the days they're here for the holiday.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have some people like live on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
During the holiday season.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
we're gonna have to.
We're getting way off
mics.
topic again. This ain't a coffee talk. Though I'm excited for our next one. Anyway. So after all the speeches and stuff, freaking party time.
Yeah, Deb got almost everyone out on the dance floor with the Cupid Shuffle.
You're talking about Sue.
Sue, yes. I'm sorry, not Deb.
Yeah, Sue
was our MC.
Don and Sue, they were our MCs. Well, she was the MC and he was the DJ, but they were awesome. They knew how to get the party started. They knew how to get everybody out on the dance floor. we've been to some weddings where the DJs were
Less than ideal.
less than ideal, and the dance floor is definitely a representation of how good the DJ is, and ours was packed the whole
Ours
night.
was amazing. Sue was just phenomenal, and it was, it's a good DJ when Chris is out on the dance floor, because Chris is not really one to like get out and dance.
I'm not a huge dancer, though. Recently, I've been feeling it,
You've been getting more involved.
and I think the reason is that like, and like, I don't know if it's sad to say, but like, now we're married. I don't give a crap about anybody's opinions on me anymore because I know that I can just embarrass myself in front of you, and you got to deal with it. And then
Thanks, babe.
then I don't even care what anybody else's thoughts are now. So like, I'm just starting to let loose and just have fun.
Yeah, and I'm glad, because I enjoy going out on the dance floor and having fun, whether I'm sober or drinking, and it's nice to have someone to go out on the dance floor with, so I'm not just dancing with myself out there.
Yeah.
It's a good time. But you were even out there at Karen's wedding.
I was. Yeah.
Karen's wedding, Sonal's wedding.
Karen's wedding, I was feeling the dancing for some reason. I was into it, but then there was some opportunities that were lost, I feel like.
Sandstorm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it was probably around that time that they brought Sandstorm on, where like I thought like a dance jam was gonna come up or something, and I was gonna get out there, and then it was just like
No. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting mix. But no, we partied and we had a blast. I tried to say hi to as many people as I could, but there were just like, we had a really big wedding.
We did, and like I felt bad for some people. Like, some of my friends from college came, and like they drove in from like New York, and Massachusetts, and like they traveled a long way down to Maryland, and like I just didn't get to spend almost any time with them. I had with like Star, I had like a conversation for like 5 minutes or less than that. It probably felt like 5 minutes in the moment, but it was probably only like a minute, and then I got ripped away for pictures or something. And Dan came too, and I talked to him and Noah for like a minute or two. But it's just like, I don't know, you're getting pulled left and right as a groom or a bride, and you try and have a moment with everyone, but it just never works that way.
Yeah, but and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I think so. After we ate dinner before speeches or whatever, Chris and I were like, okay, we finished eating, let's go to the bar, grab a drink, and we'll like hit all the tables before we come back. We didn't even make it to the bar.
Yeah, it's like you get to the bar.
I don't even think we got to the bar. I think we were on our way out to the bar
Oh.
because people were still going through the buffet line.
Yeah, that's what
And
happened.
we
So
kept-
we got our food first. We already got to eat like half our meal, and then we were like, oh, like it would be nice to have a drink. And we went up to go get drinks, but then everybody, half the wedding party or wedding guests were in line for the buffet. So it's like we got caught up for so long. And I talked to like Evan for probably like actually 10 minutes when we were at the bar because he was just grabbing a drink.
Yeah, and I think you got to talk to a lot of people at the bar, whereas I did a lot of like intermingling on the dance floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely had a lot of moments off the dance floor, like talking to people. Because I was going to get another drink, but then I just get stopped somewhere along the way.
Yeah. I honestly think after the wine we had with dinner, or I had with dinner, I just drank water the rest of the night. I was just so hot.
It went by so fast.
It did.
It went by
It went
so
by
fast.
very fast. And they actually, so at one point our photographers pulled us outside so we could take some pictures outside. We tried to get some out by the bay, and the wind was just whipping. It was so hard to actually like get a good picture out near the bay. But then they took us out towards the front, in front of the little like awning and the flowers they had, and they had a clear umbrella for us to use. So we did that. We have a couple pictures with that, and then they they did this like backlit picture with me like throwing my dress and everything.
That was pretty cool.
That
had to make you feel like a princess. When you look at
I
that.
still look at it and I'm like, I look like such a princess.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was just such a magical day. It was a lot of fun, especially because you're just surrounded with everyone like who loves you and you love them, and like we're all just celebrating in this joyous occasion.
Yeah, and I think that like another big factor to how much of a party it was that this was like right when the first ever mask mandate was lifted.
Yes.
In Maryland. So like it went from like total lockdown to like society was starting to open up a little bit, and then like, you know, but you were still required to wear masks anytime that you were around anybody else. And then like they just started
the week of our wedding.
Yeah, the week of our wedding they lifted that mask ban, and you wouldn't even know from our pictures that it was COVID because
Absolutely
nobody was
not.
wearing masks, everybody was partying. I mean, a lot of people let loose more than they probably would have at our wedding just because
of the situation.
Yeah,
the times.
Get out of the house and let's party.
But it was so much fun, and I would not change anything about the day. It was an absolute blast.
Yeah, we even got an extra hour reception.
We did, and it still seemed like it was too short.
Yeah, it still seemed like it flew by.
But it was so much fun.
It was. You know, Jamie has brought up when we were talking about wedding planning that, you know, she said that I probably would have had a smaller wedding, or so, like, if she didn't have any opinions on it, but I can't imagine it any other way.
I was gonna say, if you had your choice, looking back, you probably wouldn't change it, but going into it, I could definitely see you being like, we don't really need this many people.
I'm cheap.
It's more cost effective that way, but I am so very happy with how it all turned out. I don't know if I mentioned it before, how they picked you up in a chair.
That was unplanned.
Very unplanned. We came in from the princess pictures, and someone, I don't know who it was either my brother or Barry or someone was like, oh, found him, grabbed him, put him in a chair, and then picked up the chair.
Yep. And then it was like, what is that, like Jewish ceremonies or whatever, where
Yeah,
they
I'm
put
pretty
somebody
sure
in a chair?
Yeah, we're not Jewish.
No, we're not Jewish, but that's a heck of a tradition. I like it.
It was. Do you like it though?
It was a little scary in the moment. The pictures probably show that. I was grasping on the chair for dear life.
Yes.
Also, I think most of that was due to Ryan's side constantly dipping down because he was like half holding the chair, half dancing.
He also was having a rough night. No, I can't say he was having a rough night, but there was definitely a point. There was definitely a point where we had to get him a little water to bring him back down to fun Ryan before we got to like dangerous Ryan.
He was feeling good.
He was having a great time.
And then to end the night, we did our sparkler send off.
There were so many sparklers.
A lot of sparklers.
Apparently, my dress almost caught fire.
That would have been epic.
Would it have been though?
Would have been pretty epic. Like the dress was so big, like the tail of it, or like the train. Yeah, that like it could have caught on fire, and we would have got it out before you got.
Well,
hurt.
And that's what one of my cousins stamped it out, and they told me afterwards, they're like, sorry if you like saw me like stepping on your dress. It wasn't like that I didn't like your dress. It was that your dress had sparks flying onto it, and we didn't want it catching fire.
Yeah. That would have been an epic way, but then, you know, at the end of the sparkler line, we did another dip.
We did.
Another kiss, and then we hopped on the buses.
The only struggle with that, so halfway through the night, I took off my heels and I put on my Crocs.
Yeah.
And I had my Crocs on when we were doing the sparkler send-off. So the way they hemmed my dress was for my heels. Not so I like kept slowly stepping on like little pieces of the dress. So like at one point I almost face planted because I stepped on the dress and I could not keep moving forward.
That would have been
interesting to say the least.
Would have made a good clip for Instagram. But yeah, so we headed back on the buses and we enjoyed the rest of the night.
Yeah, I felt so bad. Everyone was like, "Oh, we're gonna party here, we're gonna party there." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we'll stop by. Like, we're
I
gonna change."
know.
And literally, we got back to the hotel room, and once like the din of everything settled, and we were like in the quiet, and everything had just like kind of settled down. It was like 30 seconds in. I was like, "We're not going back out, are we?"
No.
And
Yeah,
I was,
I remember telling all these people, like, yeah, we're going to party, like, when we get back to the hotel. And, like, people were making plans of whose room to go to. I was like, yeah, sounds great. There was no way I was leaving that hotel room once we got in it.
literally, we got to the hotel room, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we'll see you guys later." And Chris looked at me after we closed the door. He's like, "We're not actually going out, are we?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. I'm so tired."
Yeah. And then next morning, we had to leave early in the morning to go on our honeymoon.
We did, and Jake was a
coming in
champ.
as the
Let me
MVP
tell you,
again.
Jake was the MVP of the whole weekend, other than us.
Yeah. He hooked us up with some McDonald's or something too,
Yeah,
right?
we stopped and hit McDonald's on the way to the airport so we could get food in our system.
And
Yeah,
yeah, Jamaica was awesome.
it was. If you haven't heard about Jamaica, go listen to our traveling together episode.
Yeah. I really want to go somewhere soon. We need to book a vacation.
We need to talk about vacations just in general because I want to get them into work.
Yeah. You mean talk about it, like, not on a podcast?
Not
yeah.
no, like off
Like,
air.
Get the
you and
deets
I
down.
need to sit down and look at our calendars and say, because this is going to be the first year where we're not wedding heavy.
Yeah.
So we'll actually have a little more time to do some traveling without having to worry about making sure we're back for whatever weddings.
Faux show. All right. So I think that's going to wrap up this episode. And I'm going to make a pact right here that Jamie is going to post that champagne picture on the Instagram after we're done recording this episode.
I will post it. I will not put a caption. I will not do anything.
Oh, come on. A slight caption.
Okay, I'm going to do like maybe the like champagne bottle emoji and then like a buttload of hashtags.
Sounds good to me.
Listen, we're not social media people. I don't know why we tried the Instagram thing, but we're getting there.
I think, yeah, it's a good way to get some reels out there. Maybe we'll even get a TikTok at some point. Who knows?
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah. Anyway.
You see how good I am at managing the Instagram? What makes you think I'd be good at managing the TikTok?
Yeah, it's just like I edit the reels. So, I mean, like the reels are the same format as a TikTok. So you could just post it in two places. Anyway.
TBD.
If you have any recipes or cocktail recipe suggestions, any fun wedding stories or any other stories that you want us to talk about.
Any questions, comments, concerns, lovely words that you can send to us. You can send it to diariesofaworkingcouple@gmail.com. If you have any hate mail, we ask that you do not send it there or we will just spam it. Put it in our spam folder.
And then also you can send DMs to at Diaries of a Working Couple on Instagram.
Yeah.
Though we probably won't read them.
I will read them. I listen, okay? I'll read them. I will respond to them. I'm just bad at posting on Instagram.
Yeah, we will work on it.
Listen, okay? It's a work in progress. But
Alrighty.
we're getting there. All right, so email us all of the love and good things. Don't email us any of the bad things unless it's a recipe you want us to try that might be good. Then we'll accept it.
Boom. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
See ya.